Welcome back to In Their Own Words. I'm your host, Kimon Kotos, and I'm here with David Walks' Bear. And David, you're a noted author, and you've done a number of books on this Eli Stone series and other things. Can you tell us a little bit about your publisher and working to get a book out in the public?
Yeah, that's getting to be more and more difficult all the time because publishers are disappearing more and more all the time. The economy's hit them really hard, along with the electronic age is now coming of age. So you have more books being read as ebooks now than ever before. You have more books being listened to as audiobooks now than ever before, which is what we're doing today here, working the audiobook, which is the Murmurings. We're doing that in audio, having a fellow read that. So in essence, it's totally different, and if it was tough before, it's almost impossible now. And in the old days, I know that Ann was talking to me earlier and asking how you go about this. Can you submit to a publisher? Anymore, the publishers don't even accept your work, so you don't submit to them. You have to have an agent before you can submit to them. So you submit to the agent goes through the slush pile, and then they try to find a publisher for you. So
unsolicited things don't cut it anymore,
Not
unless
much.
you're self-publishing.
Not much, yeah.
So can you tell us who your publisher is?
Whiskey Creek Press is my publisher. They're out of Wyoming, and so they picked up the Eli Stone series overall.
And have you developed a following with different groups in terms of different, whether they're outdoors people or mystery readers, or have you found that you've developed a following?
Yeah, yeah. I've got probably 15 or 20 greatest fans. When they write, I'm their greatest fan, or they're my greatest fan. There's a lot of folks out there that seem to like it, and I'm happy about that. There's not tons. I'm not rich and famous, but there's a couple of them out there that seem to like it. And for me, I enjoy doing the story. I would like to do this full time, but I'm not rich like you, Kevin. Just don't have that kind of money.
Well, on that note, I'd like to thank you, David, for joining us, and wish you all the best with your books. And encourage you to go out and read one of David Walks' Bear's books, and not all of them. You might find them very interesting and enjoyable to read. So again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on In Their Own Words. I'm your host, Kimon Kotos, and I'm here with John Williams, who's the voice behind the audio version of the Murmurings. And John, welcome to the show. And tell us a little bit about your background and some of the preparation for doing an audiobook.
For an audiobook, basically, I meet with the author. He gives me the book. I read it through completely, and then we take it one step at a time. We talk about different voices we're going to use, and what we want to start with, what he's looking for, and it all just really depends on the author and what his or her taste may be.
Now let's talk about pacing. Isn't that a really crucial part for you as a reader?
Yes. You really have to pay attention to punctuation. And that really helps you. Also, the author provides me with a bigger font to read from, so when you're looking up and down, you can really catch your spot, and that's very helpful when you're reading.
Now, another thing I'm concerned about is as you're reading, isn't also important in terms of keeping a consistent pace in terms of the rate of speed, or for example, in some of what we're going to see here, you're doing one voice, you're doing maybe multiple voices. So is that much of an adjustment for you, or have you done this before?
I really haven't done it before too much, but what I do is I sometimes use different highlighters, and I'll highlight different voices, especially if it's changing in one page. If there's multiple characters, and then I know just in my mind that I can switch back and forth from that, and it helps a lot, and especially with the direction from the editor, slow down, speed up. That helps, obviously. So.
Well, you have a wonderful resonant voice. Do you work as a teacher, or do you work in a capacity where you do speak?
I do teach. I teach for Grand Haven Public Schools. I teach high school. I teach social studies. And I've been doing that for about 7 years. So that's my training. Public speaking every day, 24/7. So it works out pretty well.
Well, let's talk about another part of doing reading for a book, for example. Do you get a chance to read the book beforehand, or do you take the script and kind of review that and decide how you want to set the pace?
I read the book beforehand. It's very helpful just to kind of get a flavor of it, and then I can see and I can kind of work on my own just to kind of figure out what kind of characters I feel that it should have, what kind of flavor it should have, and then I go back and talk with the author.
Now, does working with the engineer and the author together help you in terms of trying to avoid the little, the T's and D's and the lip smackings and all the little things?
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that helps out a lot, especially if you want to switch something on the fly. It doesn't take very long to do it because the author's right there, and he can make those decisions, and it works out really well.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.